And my name is Irene. I am normally known as a body talk practitioner. And tonight, joining me on this Facebook Live is Elsie. So welcome. What we're going to talk about today, or share some tips you can see on the background on this topic called Reflect, Reset, and Redesign. This 3R formula help ourselves, and we hope to share this because we hope that it will also help you to welcome 2022 at a very consistent and uplifting mood throughout the next year. So I hope that it's something exciting that we like to talk about and share with you. So yes, Elsie, anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah, it's like, oh my goodness, where did 2021 go, right? So I'm actually in that mood right now. I've actually been quite reflective. This is the time of the year normally where my emotions, it's mixed with excitement as well as wondering where did 2021 go? Excitement in the sense that I'm really looking forward to another year ahead, another 12 months unfolding right in front of us. And then of course the reflection goes into how it's been for me. How has it been for you, Irene?
Well, it has been quite a very interesting wave that I'm riding 2021 through. So a lot of changes, a lot of hard work that I put in. And for some of you, I'm not sure if you've known that I have managed to launch my eBook. And next year forward, because of this formula, so Elsie, I'm so excited to share. And this formula has also helped me to create 2 e-courses that I'll be launching next year.
So that's congratulations. Congratulations, yes.
What about you, Elsie? How has your 2021 been?
Well, 2021 has been really a year where I have tried doing things differently, learning. There's lots of learnings as you try new things, because you'll never know until you try. And when you try, then you can then evaluate to see whether you want to do more of that or less of that. So that's the learnings. Or if it's been something that has been wonderful, there are a few things that I would like to repeat. I have not gotten an ebook or anything just yet. I'll have to say
No,
just
yet.
Never say never. But there are a lot of new things in the pipeline in terms of how I'm delivering my learnings and courses to people. Instead of doing it in face-to-face, I'm going to be taking a lot of more of those sharings online, but in bite sizes. So in the form of short videos that I'll be posting on my Facebook page, and a lot of interactive kind of a learning kind of workshop. So those are things that I've been putting together the contents for 2022, and I'm really excited because I know between you and I, we've learned a lot of things. We've learned so much. Well, it has been, at least for me, but there's a lot that we've put together that we have used those tools ourselves, that we can certainly share with people how it has helped us for us to have come this far in our journey.
Good point. Yeah, I'm sure you guys listening to us, I'm sure you too have learned a lot in 2021 and even 2020, right? You've learned a lot. I believe it's time for us to put those lessons or whatever learnings that we have learned into action to make improvements into our lives. And Elsie, thanks for also giving us a heads up to let us know that that's a lot in store that you're cooking right now. There's a lot that you'll be sharing in 2022. So let's start with what our purpose for tonight, which is this reflect, reset, and redesign. So Elsie, would you like to start to share with us what are some of the key points that comes to you when you're doing your planning or things that in your work with regards to the word reflect?
Okay, there are many key points, but to sum it out in 2 key points would be not to discount I'm sure we've had ups and down moments in 2021, but not to discount those down moments, because there are, there is no failure, there's only feedback, right? So there are definitely learnings that we can take with us from those things that didn't turn out the way we wanted. What is the learning from that? And then, of course, the other thing would be, what's the great thing that happened? Are you
Ah,
able to repeat that? Most importantly, if
right.
it successes, you want to repeat that and you want to bring it another level up. In reflecting for my own last 12 months, these are things that I've written down. What are the moments that you want to celebrate? What are the great moments that you want to celebrate? And can you do more of that? And when you're
Okay.
doing more of that, can you do it better? That's
Right.
where I go.
Right. That's probably where you said like not to brush away our mistakes or things that we've done, not according to what we originally wanted, but to learn from this boo boo or whatever word that you want to call it, and then it's great learnings behind every so-called failure, right? So how can we reflect as in to look into that, what kind of mistakes, and then what can be not so much learn from it, but you also say on the other side to celebrate. I like what you say, to celebrate the success and then do more of. I would normally reflect on, for example, an event, or even like tonight we're doing this sharing, and sometimes I go reflect within. My secret is I do my reflection within the next 24 hours. So it's very immediate, because after that, then the system starts to forget. So normally even after I learn something in a new course, so immediately within the next 24 hours, I will reflect or revise, if you want to put it that way. So that's
You always inspire me that way, because I've learned a lot from you that way, because
oh
you would immediately, while it's still fresh in the oven, so to speak, you
yeah,
would immediately sit down and reflect on what you've learned so that it stays. So that's a
please.
great habit, and I've started to model you on that.
Wow, that's nice, right? Even sharing with friends, and you can touch friends or inspire people. That's why we're doing this tonight. It's not like not like a
Yeah, yeah.
big
Yeah.
thing, but it's simple stuff, but it can touch lives sometimes, make a difference. Awesome,
Now,
awesome.
Irene, you said that you've always been doing reflecting. Years and years and years ago, I'm not in this habit of doing reflecting. I only started
Wow.
it a number of years ago, but I just want to take myself like years ago, perhaps 10 years ago. I don't do this level of reflection as I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us, and I think I'm just like a lot of people out there, we're actually caught in this coping mechanism, if you
Mm-hmm.
want to call it that, because there's deadlines to be met, there are things that you're rushing, and you go through the process in a very robotic way. And coping mechanism means that you are just doing it, repeating it, doing it, repeating it, but not so much in a very lively and enthusiastic way. And it's just rinse and repeat, but it's a bit tired way of rinsing and repeating, if you know
I
what I
call that
mean.
I call that autopilot mode,
Autopilot mode, that's
right?
right. That's a
Yeah,
great word. And
yeah.
that was how I used to operate. And then
Oh
you
wow.
start your year with that. Can you imagine if it's not been a great year and there are some negative and sore spots? And if you start a brand new year with all those negative moments,
Yeah,
how can that impact? How wonderful can your planning be for the brand new year?
correct. You're right, absolutely right. It's like a very accounting term that reminds me. You carry forward,
You carry
and
forward.
brought forward all your, like what's the other phrase that we use? Garbage in, garbage stays, right?
Excellent.
So,
Yeah, we
and
think
in
it's out, it's not out.
yeah, it doesn't go out unless we make time. We make time for what the next point we're sharing is reset, but very, very critical. Because normally this year I'm a little bit late on reflecting 2021. Normally I do it by end of October. So I start to because I do have an auditing and accounting background, right? Call it stock take. So normally I start to stock take by October. So by end of October, I would kind of like be able to see. I do sometimes every quarter, but for the entire year. So by October is where I look at my 2021 for this year or any other years. And then November is where I start to fine tune. And December, and somewhere between December, that's when I start to do the next thing called the reset, so that it helps me to clear up, like what you shared earlier, Elsie, that the stuff that we need to learn, what has gone right, what has gone wrong, what needs to stop, and what needs to start. What's the other key things that we learned from one of the coaches. It says that the stop doing list.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's something I've been actively doing, because to get more done, it's not about doing a lot. It's about stopping all those things that's not helping you in your productivity. It's just stop doing lists. I'm actively doing that, crossing out a lot of things.
Awesome. Because if not, right, then we autopilot and we keep accumulating, we keep learning new things. And I just felt that I reached a stage that I got overwhelmed. I think, Elsie, you might have experienced this some point in your life as well, as you learn it, to go like, oh my God, I learned so much. What do I do with all this information?
Oh, yes.
So most of us have gone through this phase. So now I think we talked a lot about reflect. So what is this reset? So how do we move forward to get this reset done? So what are your, pushing the ball back to your court, so you'd like to share, what's your definition or a few key points about reset?
A reset. So my way of resetting would be having reflected on what the year has been, and if I've identified any kind of uncomfortable moments or negative moments, you then want to see if you can let it go, because if it's no longer serving you, why keep it? Strike it out of your list, let it go. Right. Sometimes though, it's easier said than done.
I was going to say that too. And we're in this industry, or working what we do. Like I've been in Body Talk for 15 years, and Elsie, you've been operating as a wellness creation coach for like what, 10 years or more?
I started this wellness journey for about more than 10 years. I've started this wellness journey since 2007, and then of course along the years I've built up on my tools and learning new tools and incorporating in my work, and actively utilizing those tools that I've applied on myself successfully, and actively using it to work with my clients, people I work with, either on a group basis or an individual basis. And that's probably actively in the last 10, 11 years.
Wow, just quite long as well. Yeah, so I mean, being in this, let's say more than 10 years, right? Just a round up that figure. And we know this word, like we heard it a lot. People say that let it go is like, you're absolutely right. It's easier said than done. Means like, if I can let go, I would. Who would not? So what I think what we have in common when it comes to this word, let it go, or doing the reset, is about having an appropriate tool that can help us do that job. Is that what you're thinking as well, Elsie?
Yes. I mean, when we have to let go of things, the logical mind tells you have to let it go. Or if you want to achieve certain things, the logical mind will say, well, to achieve A, you need to do, to achieve B, you need to do da. Yeah. But that's the logical mind. But have you found yourself sometimes that there are things that it's good for you to do, you have to do it, but somehow or rather you don't do it. You go into this sabotage mode. Not intentionally, but it just happens.
Because we're so conditioned with whatever that's happening in the past, right? This is how we use. What I think our point is, like, you just can't say let it go and then let go. There's a process.
If only it was that easy.
Exactly. Then there's no problem in the world. There's no disease. There's no aches. There's no pains. It's like you go away pain and then you're magically healed, right? So I think where we're coming from is reset is a process, that there are tools. There's plenty of tools out there. For me, it's like I say, I'm known to be a Body Talk practitioner. I have this self-care tool called Cortices, which some of you who know me would have already known how to do that. It's simple enough. So yes, I mean, there are tools. There's a lot of tools. That's why 2022, Elsie and I have come together to, right now we're going to share with you that we would like to share more and more of little tips that you can use to help do some reset.
And not just resetting, I think, we've discussed about this. Sometimes when, especially in the new year, right, you want to reset, like if you're starting on, say, a weight loss program, you set your goals, you start very high. But then before the quarter ends or before February comes, you fizzle out. You fizzle out, right? The gas is all out. Now,
Exactly.
the system that we've got is something that can actually helps you stay motivated, start uplifted, stay motivated, and carry on with that, because
Yeah.
it is something that you would need this tool for the rest of the year, not just the beginning of the year. Right,
Exactly.
Irene?
I think that's the tough part,
Yeah.
being consistent. That is really tough, especially if there's something new that you want to start and you're not used to it. Like right, so that's the key. And then I think one of the things for reset that really critical, at least for me, is to clean up, especially the emotional baggages, because we're so conditioned to feel certain manner. Like how many of you, when you say like, oh, let's get started, let's do something new, and then you get all the adrenaline rush, but then there's no consistency because the old patterns come back, and then it just drag you back. So it's not enough fuel to actually, you keep needing to top up the fuel, even like car, or even you use your electronics, you need to charge your battery at a regular basis. So for me, what is important for me to so-called let go is this emotional attachments. This is quite tricky, because then I go like, get lazy or whatever it is. So yeah, so my reset, the key for reset is to observe those emotions and have a tool that works for me, so that I can work through, clean up those garbage.
Yeah. What you said is right. It's like an emotional declutter.
Right.
Like
Excellent word.
decluttering your internal house, not your external space, but your
Yeah.
internal space.
Yeah.
Decluttering those thoughts or the thought pattern that has not been that no longer serves. In fact, probably gets in your way of achieving new things, of achieving your
Correct.
goals or new dreams.
Correct.
So, yes, I also go through that as well, the emotional declutter using the tools that I've been using. And that's how we become better and better, instead of bringing or carry forwarding all these baggages that we've been carrying. There are people who carry it year after year after year, and it weighs you down. If you
Yeah.
carry that baggage, you get overweight. Literally, emotionally
Yeah,
overweight.
you're right. Literally as well. Then people do put on weight because of that subconscious conditionings of we keep adding and adding and adding stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So that's what we shared so far, to reflect, and then to have some regular moments, pause, tools, time to help us reset, and then only, I suppose, this redesign can take place. And the redesign that we want to do, or I have been doing that for the past several years, is consistent and it's growing. Not redesign for the first 1 month of the year and then punctured by the time not only comes to middle of the year, by the time it comes to February, like the system is the change is not sustainable. So the system that we have is something that is really sustainable, but you have to do the job. Like nobody can do magic on you, but then the idea is it makes your transition smoother and easier. And what's the other keyword? Effortless.
Effortless. With ease and grace, yes. Yes. So you made a really good point, Irene. You want to do it consistently, but you want to be on an upward momentum. Because
Right.
having done your reflecting and your emotional decluttering, you're now in that state of mind, the best state of mind, to put all the ingredients in that you want for yourself to
Exactly.
redefine or redesign 2022.
Past, when I don't know this, at every end of the year or beginning of the year, they do goal setting, and then most people have done it, and then I'm one of them, almost gave up. Because all we do is set goals and plans, like there's so many systems for setting goals, but then we forgot, that there is the homework leading to redesign, that we have to clear, reset, and reflect on stuff that do we still really want to continue whatever that we've been doing? Is it serving us? Is it serving our clients, our friends, our family as well? This formula works really well for me. I know there's one point in my time I hit plateau, and it was like, oh my God, what do I do? It's so depressing. So I'm so grateful that I found this formula, and that's why we were talking with Elsie, we were sharing, and then go like, let's share this great stuff with our friends.
Yeah. And you brought a really good point about setting goals. I just want to raise this point. I used to be doing goal settings beginning of the year.
Well,
And you know something, this goal setting, it doesn't do much to my confidence. What do? We set goals because we want big goals. We set goals. We are also hyped up. We set big goals. And then before the first quarter is up, you don't achieve your goal. You're quite far out from your goal. And that actually takes your confidence level takes a beating when that happens. You beat yourself up.
Yeah.
And you cannot let that happen. We need to do more that's more uplifting. You cannot let that happen. But when you set these goals, that's not within the realm of possibility, because we are so inspired. Beginning of the year, it sets you on that mode. Excitement, you want to fill it up with, I want this, and I want this, and I want this. When you set those scary goals, hairy and scary goals, and you don't achieve them, you beat yourself up.
Yeah.
It really doesn't do justice to your confidence. In fact, it's like one step forward and two steps back. We pull ourselves back. And that's when you do it without doing the reflecting and the resetting moments.
Definitely. If that happens to me, that's why for me, I personally use the word very depressive. Then I'm better off not setting goals.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost like setting myself up for failure. That's how I felt in the past. When I set goals, I don't have the right system to see me through, and then it just crashed within. And my mind could sustain a little bit longer, but it still crashed by 2 months. like March, I'm still back into that loop.
Yeah.
So I feel that
I get you, because I think most of us have been there. I've certainly been there, but I got out of it.
Yeah.
With this system and this level of awareness.
Yeah. Excellent. So I hope that you have enjoyed our sharing, and you like to follow us a little bit more throughout the year. So you can follow Elsie on her Instagram. So this is the QR code that you can scan, and you can follow Elsie's Instagram. I'm still on Facebook. This is where you're watching from. Follow me on my Facebook page. You can scan this QR code and click the notification button so that you will be notified once we have any of this interesting sharing.
So if you like what we've shared today, we'll be sharing nuggets of this on our social media on a regular basis. So if you like anything that you've heard so far, follow us so that you can be notified. Alternatively, you can actually get in touch with us directly.
That's right.
To find out more about what the system is.
Okay, so thank you so much for your time, Elsie.
Thank you, Irene, for organizing this.
Yes, and then good night, and we'll see you guys again. Bye.
Bye.